Hey guys, so today we're going to be tying kind of an experimental pattern here. I just want to kind of showcase a new head that we've been using on some of our streamers, kind of a spun foam head. So today we're going to just kind of start off tying and just kind of see what kind of body we end up with, and then I'll show you all this spun foam head. So we're going to tie a white fly. We're going to start with a silver hook. I don't know why, but I like to match my hooks with the color of the fly that I'm going to tie. So I've got a couple of hackle feathers here that we're going to use as the tail on this thing. But people ask us a lot of times kind of how we come up with our patterns and where our patterns kind of come from. I don't know, figured we'd kind of show y'all how some of this happened in a video today, and might just kind of enjoy kind of seeing how we put some of our stuff together. Of course, I'm crimping that vein so that it will lay flat for me, not spin, as it can be prone to do. Got one more feather here. There we go, so we got a tail. We're going to use a little bit of our UV Polar chenille here. Just kind of do a body of this stuff. Never have too much flash. Alright, so we're going to palmer this forwards here. Save a little bit of room at the front to put a zonker loop at the very front of this thing. There we go. So I've already got a little piece of zonker strip cut here for me to demonstrate a zonker loop. So we're going to make a little loop out of our tying thread, insert the leather from the zonker into the loop, and cut the fur off of that piece of leather. There we go. So you have to keep holding pretty good pressure on this, or else it'll that hair will kind of pop out. We're going to kind of work it down to where it's right at the tips. And we're just going to start spinning this little tool here. There we are. So I have my little Velcro tool here. You've seen this in a couple other videos, especially with dubbing. So I'll just kind of give this a good brush. Then I'll kind of free up all the ones that are hung. There we go. Easy enough, right? So I'm going to palmer, create a little zonker head on this trailer. Now let's whip finish on this trailer part. So we're going to take a needle here and just kind of pick out some of this fur that got trapped in our wraps. That'll kind of make it stick out nice and far. We're just going to fold all that back. There we are. So it's a good looking tail. We'll move on to the second hook. So after we've articulated here, you can see I've just used 2 of our kind of silver or pearl beads here for our articulation. Just use some nice 20-pound articulation wire. So I think next let's just finish up this front hook here. Give it a little bit of body with this UV Polar again. We'll run that up. I like this stuff because it's waterproof, so you can put as much of it in there as you want. It really won't hold a lot of water. Gives it, kind of builds bulk and body, especially if you put it behind different materials, as we can see with this rabbit. Then we'll just do another one of these Zonker ropes here. Give us just enough room to create this foam head. So let's tie this the foam head you've been waiting for. So I have just a regular piece of foam here that I've already cut some little slits in. So we can see there's a lot of just small little slices that I've cut into this foam. Each one of these little slices is going to act just like its own little individual strand of deer hair. So I'm just going to trim those out. So now I have just a bunch of little sticks of foam. So again, it's going to act just like an individual piece of deer hair. So I'm going to take a few. So we want our collar to be about as long as our rabbit strip. So we're going to hold those there. And now we're not going to really spin these. We're just going to place them on the top of the hook. So these are really going to be just like your collar. There we are. So since we're doing that, we're going to trim out these. We'll do one more in front of that here. We're going to tie in. There we are. So let's finish that. We'll show you what this looks like trimmed up. So I like to have a nice sharp pair of scissors to do this with. And we're kind of going to trim it just like you would trim like a wedge head. We're just going to start trimming. Just lay your scissors at an angle here. Trim as we go along. You can see too when you cut and you get them at a nice angle, it kind of gives it a little more of a look, just like a deer hair head would have. So when you get to these rear ones, just try to lay your scissors down and get a nice little point to them. Make it look like a collar. And there we are. So to finish up, I like to take just some Loon UV Cure. I like to just do quite a generous amount down here on the bottom of this, and that just helps lock all of that in place. So we'll take our light and cure all of that. There we are. So we've got our big Zonker Strip throat here, kind of create a lot of movement, add some flash, hackle tip tails. We're who knows? Maybe you'll see this one in some of our pattern coming up here before too long. We are working on a couple of patterns that we're going to release this year with our foam head, our foam streamer head like this. We've also found that you can catch a lot more fish on each one just because this stuff is so strong. It's abrasion resistant. It just doesn't get really torn up as much. It also floats a little better if you're looking for something to float a little higher in the water column than just your deer hair head. If you want to cast on the far side of a log and pull it over the log and then start fishing it with an intermediate line, we tend to see that these foam heads work really well for that. Guys, if you would, we're going to do a little giveaway here. If you would comment on this, first person to comment, we'll send this fly to you. And if you'd like to do that, you can receive your own blue line fly from one of our videos. Well, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about this, comments, anything, please get in contact with us or comment on the video, and we really appreciate it. Go visit bluelineflies.com to see all of our flies that we have to offer. Thanks.